Bienvenidos!
Hi,
everybody. We are here with our friend Cory Allen Hall, and we will be doing some fun work over the next hour. What are we working on?
So we are going to make an Outsidelands poster, a music festival poster, in Photoshop, and I'm going to be using the Generative AI tool in Adobe Photoshop.
Ooh, fun. So we're gonna get a little bit of Firefly in here. If you haven't used it, you can get it using the beta of Photoshop. So we weren't planning on showing my screen, but guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna hop over to my screen real quick, and I wanna show you all how you can download the beta. So if you don't have it, all you need to do is scroll down here to beta apps in the Creative Cloud desktop app, and then Photoshop beta will be right there for you.
And this is available to anybody, right?
Everybody, yes.
That's amazing.
2 R's, 1 E, everybody.
Everybody. You guys should really try it. I mean, it's really, really amazing, as you're gonna see in this next hour, but
yes,
anyone can get it.
Okay, so let's hop over to your screen, intro you, talk a little bit about what you do, what your work is, all that fun stuff.
So my name is Cory Hall. I'm a graphic designer. Excuse me. I am based in Portland, Oregon, but I'm streaming from the studio today with Andrew in San Francisco. I'm a graphic designer. I work on a lot of different graphic design projects. I do a lot of branding, kind of as you see here. This was actually an Adobe live stream that I did about a year or so ago with this branding project. I've made Instagram face filters before. I've made like voting resources for Instagram. I do a lot of editorial illustrations, which I've actually been using the Adobe Firefly and Generative AI tools to help me generate ideas and concepts for
so good for brainstorming, yeah.
And so we're gonna kind of like dive into a little bit of that today with this poster that I'm working on. But yeah, that's a bit of what I've done. I've done some like podcast branding, so a lot of fun stuff. But one of my favorite things to work on are posters, which is why that's what I've chosen today to work on. I do like some of them on my Instagram are just kind of various different fun posters and carousels and stuff. But let's dive into what it is that we're going to work on today, which, as I mentioned, it's an Outsidelands poster.
Yes, what is Outsidelands? I am not a music festival guy, so describe to us the vibes so we can kind of get a mental image as we go.
Yeah, so Outsidelands, it's a music festival. It's an annual music festival based here in San Francisco. It's a 3-day festival in Golden Gate Park. And Outsidelands traditionally has a very kind of specific branding style that I'm gonna deviate a little bit from today. I've been gravitating more recently towards these sort of like grunge-esque style punk posters. And so this is sort of the style. This is a Pinterest mood board that I created that I think I'm gonna base this poster around. But I'm really liking kind of the bright, bold colors. I'm really liking these bold shapes and the use of photography, but then making it look a little bit more like pop arty. So kind of touching on what you just did on your last live stream. And then some like sort of fun typographic choices. And so, you know, we've got kind of a general concept here. And so what I'm gonna do from here is I am actually going to, so here, this is the Outsidelands lineup. So we've got sort of the Outsidelands current existing poster with the branding, the dates, and all of the bands and artists that are gonna be there. But what I'm gonna start with today, and I mentioned this just a couple minutes ago, is something that I use as part of my process is I use Firefly to help me generate ideas. And so for this poster, I was thinking, I went into stock.adobe.com, which is where you can download stock images, and I'm just searching for San Francisco parks. So because this is a San Francisco-based music festival, I want something that's kind of a concept that's sort of based around like iconic viewpoints of San Francisco.
Yes.
And so I found this one, this is an image of the Conservatory of Flowers, which is in Golden Gate Park, which is where this music festival is. So I'm gonna download this and kind of use this as a,
Sign in.
Gotta sign in first.
So while he does that, let's go ahead and talk real quick. If you are joining us from our Discord community, we love our Discord friends, go ahead and leave a purple heart in the chat to let us know that you're coming over from our Discord Firefly community. Again, we are going to be using Firefly today in the context of generative fill. So the AI tools from Adobe are going into some of your core Creative Cloud apps. There is Illustrator, Photoshop, all have capabilities with Adobe Firefly now, which is really cool. So we're gonna show off generative fill today.
So we're gonna re-download, and so I'm downloading just a couple of images of San Francisco that I think are pretty recognizable. And then we're gonna take these over into Photoshop. We're gonna use some of that generative AI to throw in a couple of different ideas that I might have that are like maybe concert related or maybe other iconic San Francisco like images that would be recognizable. And I'd love to hear from you guys if there are any iconic sort of San Francisco vistas that you'd like me to check out and download from Adobe Stock, or as we're pulling these posters together, if there are any ideas that you want me to throw into the generative AI.
Okay, this is such a specific reference about San Francisco, but it's a very like core San Francisco thing. So when the San Francisco fires happened, there was one side of the street that got completely burned down and one side that like remained. And so
Okay.
I don't remember where the street is, but one side is all old houses and one is all like brand new. And in between them is a fire hydrant and it is painted gold. And it was the only fire hydrant that was working in that area, and it saved the entire left side of the neighborhood.
Oh my God.
And so every year they have a ceremony and they paint the fire hydrant gold.
That's wild.
Right? It's a super unique story, but that when you're thinking of unique San Francisco things, I thought it was a fun story for us all to share together.
I wonder if there's I don't know.
Like a gold
San
fire
Francisco-
hydrant?
Gold, that might be like very specific.
Yes.
Fire hydrant. But, I mean, we could also use the AI tool to pop a gold fire hydrant in there somewhere as a little Easter egg.
That might be it. And that, I mean, like, that's not a bad option.
So I downloaded a couple of images. So let me just begin bringing these over into Photoshop.
Yes. Hop on the spot.
Let's see. Bring these over, and so again, I'm using Photoshop Beta, which is why I've got my sort of main Photoshop over here on the side, but then the Photoshop Beta has this white background with little rules on it, I think to signify that it's a beta app.
Yes.
So we've got these 3 images, all kind of like iconic San Francisco-y images. I really like this one specifically because this is Conservatory of Flowers, that's a hard word for me to say today, in Golden Gate Park, which is where Outsidelands Music Festival is. And so just kind of like starting out pretty simple with this generative AI tool. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my marquee selection tool, and I'm going to select this front area. And an idea that I've sort of had in mind for this for a little while is I wanna put a crowd into this. So as if they are looking and watching a concert at the Conservatory of Flowers, there's a crowd in front of the conservatory. So I've selected sort of this front area where I want the cloud to be. It's a little bit hard to see the little marquee tool on the screen, but if I click Generative Fill here.
Oh, can we drag our contextual toolbar up just because there's no good place for us to be?
Boop, boop.
Yep, and then if you click on the 2 little dots, you can actually pin it. And I know this is a question a lot of people have, that as you go through, it will change. And so if you click on those 3 dots, there's an option that just says pin it looks like it is.
Pin bar position?
Yep.
There
And
we
that
go.
way it'll stay wherever you are. I know that people get frustrated that every time you change tools, it moves somewhere. And so pinning it is a really easy way to do that.
Yeah, that's actually really helpful because sometimes it pops up in places and I'm like, I don't know what
Yes.
to do with
You're
this
like,
thing.
I want you over here, but you're over here now.
Okay, so I've selected this area where I think I want the crowd to be, and I am going to type in, let's just say music festival crowd and see what comes up. I'm gonna hit generate and give it a second to think. And right
Yes.
now it's pulling from probably thousands of images on Adobe Stock.
Yes.
And compiling them into what it thinks will look like a great crowd in front of the Conservatory of Flowers here.
Yep. And Andrew is saying, since you're in America and I'm in the UK, about how about the Statue of Liberty with a crowd in the poster? So maybe we can incorporate the Statue of Liberty somewhere in here.
Maybe, but I don't know. This is San Francisco Music
It
Festival,
is San Francisco.
so I might not do that.
So for context, San Francisco's here, Statue of Liberty's here, and so like it's a little far away. But we're there with you in spirit. This did a really good job at creating a crowd.
Yeah, this is actually like kind of more perfect than I was expecting. So we've got, what's cool about this is with this generative AI function, it gives me 3 options.
Yes.
So I typed in my prompt, I hit generate, and this is the first option. This is probably the one that it thinks is best. I'm gonna go check out number 2. This one's also really pretty good. We've got like people raising their arms. It looks like we've got some phones up there. The third option, also kind of good.
Oh yeah, third option is just a different, like it feels like it's a higher angle.
Yeah.
Or everyone's shorter.
Everyone's shorter.
One of the 2.
And I think like this is kind of a tricky prompt in that, you know, like AI sometimes struggles with hands, and so if we zoom closely, you can kind of see areas where it might not be exactly perfect.
Yes.
But because we're also gonna go with sort of a more punk theme, and I'm gonna give these a treatment.
Yes.
I'm not too concerned with the details here. And we're also kind of thinking about this in terms of developing a concept. So
That's funny. I've never thought about like, oh, the AI isn't getting it perfect, but you're like, oh, for the use case, it's going to be thresholded, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
You're like, I just need things that look like people.
Yep. And so for me, particularly, if I'm like using this to help generate ideas too, I might go off and recreate it myself in a way that makes sense for the use case that I'm using, but it's just helping me to generate the idea.
Yep.
I really like this first. I like this first crowd a lot, so I think I'm gonna stick with that. And so what you can see here over on my layers panel is that it's actually created a separate layer for this generated image that it's layered on top, and it's created a mask as well. So if I toggle off the visibility, we've still got the original image that I started with here, but we've also got the crowd that was generated on top of it. So let's see, I don't know, do we have anything in, Jacob in the chat says never seen the conservatory that busy. Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
It's usually just people hanging out, picnicking in front of it.
Yes. We're looking for suggestions maybe from chat for other things we want to see in here.
Yeah, so if there's anything you want to see, I mean, we got the Statue of Liberty, so let's, out of curiosity, let's just see what would happen if we put the Statue of Liberty
Let's see
in
what
here.
I'm actually curious about something that specific because it's not necessarily an IP. There's for sure Adobe Stock of the Statue of Liberty. So I'm very interested to see what happens if we try to put it in there.
We're gonna just put her off over to the side. She's
Yep.
not like the focal point, but she's just kind of there in the background, and let's see what happens.
I feel like it's going to get it because it's a pretty well-known landmark.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, like,
I mean, what happened to her face?
it's her. She had some issues with her face.
Oh, but I mean, honestly, not bad.
Not bad.
Let's see what the other options look like. Oh, now she's on top of the Conservatory of
Yeah.
Flowers. And you can see it's doing a pretty good job of kind of blending her into the existing imagery that was already there.
Yep.
With those trees. It's giving her a little bit more trees propped up there.
I think the first one's probably the best.
Let's see how it feels. So it's an interesting, I mean, and it does a really great job of kind of blending her into the sky too.
Yeah.
And so I think like, again, as we're in this beta Photoshop and it's sort of like figuring out, you know, how to do this. And
Yep.
what's really cool too is we can also, I can hit generate again and it will generate another set of 3 images. And so if we don't love any of those, then we can go through and just kind of see what the next 3 look like.
Yep. Fantastic suggestions from chat is a portion of the Golden Gate Bridge.
Okay, I love that idea. So let's see, so we've got more Statues of Liberty. And what's cool too is if I go over to the properties channel, you can see the other options that were generated in here.
Yep.
So I really like the idea of, who was it that said a portion of the Golden Gate Bridge? I like that idea.
That was Renee.
So maybe, I don't know, if I select this whole area, I'm just kind of curious to see Golden Gate Bridge.
So what's interesting and what's going to happen here is the area is larger than 1080 by 1080 pixels, and so it will generate it, but the quality will be lower than the actual photo.
Okay.
So 1080 by 1080 is the
Wow.
is the maximum size for Adobe Firefly right now for high resolution. But it will generate. You just have to kind of mess around with it a little bit.
That's like kind of wild.
That's interesting for the style that we're going for.
Yeah.
Because it feels very like cut and pasted on. Like the perspectives aren't quite right, but it feels like I love that for the style we're going for.
Man, okay, I'm kind of torn. And partially the reason that I'm torn is we're losing the top of the conservatory here. But if I go in, I can probably just do a little bit of
Ooh, manual masking.
manual masking. I'm going to be really sloppy with this again, just because we are kind of, we're going for a more of a grungy poster style. So I showed y'all the Pinterest mood board, but we're not super concerned with like the detail here because we're going to give it a photo treatment.
Yep. And someone is saying 1080, not 1024. It's 1024. You're right. Sorry, my numbers were off a little bit.
So this is really cool. I'm kind of a big fan of this.
I am. It already feels like that kind of cut paper style. Are you familiar with Dewey Saunders at all?
I'm not, no.
Okay, he's an amazing collage artist and does work like that kind of looks similar with like it's cohesive but a little confusing. And so I love the style that this is coming out with.
Okay, so this I think will make for a really nice, this is like a good poster concept. So we've got an interesting poster here. Let's go on to the next image and let's see. I mean, I think I'm liking the idea of including a crowd in this one too, if only just because this is an Outsidelands poster. And we want to kind of give the music festival vibe. So I'm gonna put another crowd in here. And maybe that's sort of our consistent element is music festival crowd. Maybe if we were to make a series of 3 photos, something that I like to do, or series of 3 posters, something I like to do with my posters is have some kind of consistency, whether it's consistency in color, type, or subject matter. And so maybe if we were making a series here, the consistency would be the crowd and the Outsidelands word mark. I mean, wow.
That's pretty, and look, it even got the focus. Like we have like the blurriness on the heads that are close to us, and then it gets sharper.
That's pretty amazing. Okay, I'm just curious. So we've got a lot more people here. And again there. I really like the first one.
I do too, it's great.
That feels like extremely realistic to me. And do we have any other suggestions for things that we might want to try inserting in?
Let us know. And someone's saying, do we have to use generative fill in our work? You don't have to. It's a really great, we like to call it a creative co-pilot. So it helps you in the workflows that you're already using. It helps speed it up, helps you brainstorm, which is what we're doing, ideate kind of better there, I think, as well.
Okay, so something that I'm trying now is stage lights. So maybe we're thinking like, I don't think that there's room to try to put a stage in here, but this might just like...
That's exactly what it should be.
Yeah, like if we were looking, I mean, I guess the perspective's a little funny is like people wouldn't be looking away from the stage, but I kind of like the idea of stage lights framing this poster.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, that is like what it would look like.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
That's pretty dope. Okay. First one or third one?
I think the third one.
I like the third one too.
And then I wonder if we can add in just like some birds or like some seagulls, I feel like are a signature thing for San Francisco.
So let's see. I mean, maybe I could just do like a flock of birds. So
yeah, let's see what happens. And we don't have to use the rectangular marquee tool. So we're actually using the lasso tool here because you can make a selection of any size. But when you do a selection of size like this, it will fill that entire section. So it's not going to just put like a piece. And let's see what happens actually. There are times that I'll be like birds and it will do one giant bird in that space. And so sometimes you can get multiples, sometimes you get one, kind of got to play around with it.
Yeah, let's see what flock of birds gives us.
And Andrew's saying, please do stage lights. I suggested that. We did it.
Thank you, Andrew. Okay, it's thinking.
All right. Also, Andrew, I'm so sorry, but you need to be other Andrew for the rest of the stream because we can't have two.
Okay, so I like that. What I want them to be, though, is seagulls.
Yes.
So I'm going to do... I'm curious if it's going to give it to me in the same sort of like variation section or if it'll generate
it will.
one.
It will keep all of your variations in one place. So you can go back kind of infinitely.
Yeah, because if y'all in the chat are familiar with San Francisco, we're on the ocean. We get seagulls a lot. I think crows are also here, but oh my God.
It's funny because San Francisco is actually on a bay. So in theory, they should call them bagels.
How many times have you used that joke before?
So many times. It's my favorite joke.
Oh, God.
So what's interesting, and you can actually see it right there, is it is moving not just the seagulls, they're not transparent PNGs, it is actually on a background. And so if you want to, you can make that a group and then select subject and mask out just the seagulls, but it is going to move the entire space as you do that.
Yeah, so what's cool is that this generative AI tool takes into consideration the area around the selection. So it's taking into consideration the entire selection and it's blending it out. So, instead of selecting exactly where I wanted the seagulls to go, it kind of put the seagulls in and then blended the area around it to make it as realistic as possible.
Yep.
These seagulls are definitely not going to want to fly onto this stage.
Those seagulls are the show. Like that's what Outsidelands, those seagulls are on the stage
They're
right now.
on the stage, they're flying onto the stage for their set.
100%.
Which is pretty amazing.
Just land and takes out the guitar.
So, okay, so we've got concept 1, we've got concept 2. Let's just do one final concept. Let's see. So Dolores Park, iconic San Francisco park.
Yep.
We really like it. So we have the stage lights. If we've got suggestions in the chat, I would love to hear more suggestions from everybody.
I have a suggestion.
Yes.
I would love to see like a cable car that's like going through there.
Okay.
Like I don't know how
Chaos.
Generative Fill is gonna get like that like perspective, but having some kind of cable car in there I think could be really interesting.
So maybe if I do almost like
That's what I'm thinking too, yeah. So what's cool is if you do a kind of piece like this that is kind of oblong, it will use that as a perspective. Okay. So I say that, and then we're going to generate it as not. But very often, if you draw trapezoids, it will make it into an kind of perspectived object.
So I did San Francisco cable car, which hopefully isn't like too specific.
I think it'll be okay.
And I hope, I don't know, I feel bad. We're going to run over all these people. What's it going to do with them? Oh, wow.
There's a lot happening there.
There is a lot.
That's a lot
happening.
to take in.
My brain is processing right now. So definitely not a San Francisco cable car, but it is a car on cables.
It is, yeah. There's a lot of cars.
There's like so many little cars.
It's so much happened in that. It added so many things.
I mean, I'm kind of amazed.
It feels futuristic.
It added a full road in there too. I mean, these people managed to dodge it. They're still sitting there watching.
It did save all the people, which I like.
Okay. So the first one was definitely the best option.
Oh, yeah. And it's doing like a cable car, like a top cable car.
Maybe, okay, let's try this. Streetcar.
Oh, yeah. That's probably, yeah.
Let's see if that makes a difference.
Cable car and Golden Gate Bridge, like one of the Marvel films.
Jacob Phillips in the chat says, I used to call my family dog a bagel, a beagle, and a basset hound mix.
Yes. My parents named our dog Buffett after Jimmy Buffett, and I called him Buffet for like his whole life.
Okay, so we're getting like, these kind of look like Muni.
Yes.
Just a little bit, but it's going straight through the park. I don't know. I don't know if I like that.
I don't like it.
I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a stage in here because these people are kind of sitting on the grass already. Looks like they're waiting for something. So if I put a stage in front of them, let's do concert stage.
The famous San Francisco gondolas. You know those gondolas in San Francisco?
Oh yeah, they're up at Dolores Park.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they're just picking people up and dropping them off up and down the park. They don't want to walk through the park.
I want a gondola.
Yeah, it's so cool. Whoa. Okay, so UFO stage.
Oh, okay. It's got like the top of the stage.
That's kind of like a stage.
That's passable.
Yeah.
That's the idea of a stage, and that's probably passable for a music festival.
Okay, let's generate again and see what else it comes up with. Because I kind of like those last two options. The last one was like definitely the most realistic. And maybe if I try selecting a slightly smaller area, it'll...
That's true. It was a very, very big stage. And again, it will scale objects to the size that you... That's pretty good.
That's also quite passable.
That's more of a movie night.
Yeah, concerts or movies at the park. Huh, okay. I like that one. All right. Okay.
I also like that the stage is the same size as the building. That's like at least an 80-foot stage.
And now, just for fun, just because of the story, in honor of the story you told, let's do golden fire hydrant.
Yes.
As a throwback.
Why not? Have that little moment for us in San Francisco.
I wonder if it's going to like make it at a realistic size. Like, is it going to make it?
I'll bet it adds a shadow even. I don't know what happened, but that's the right answer. Like Firefly said, "Hey, is this what you're looking for?" And
interesting.
Okay.
Well, I mean
that's it. The bird has to be it.
I think it's gonna have to be the bird.
Icon.
Just like, well, and what's funny is if we took this away, you wouldn't look at this and be like, no, nothing's out of sorts.
0% when I notice that. Yeah, you'd be like, oh yeah, it's just like a picture of
Only upon closer inspection would you be like, something seems a little off. What's going on?
Which, if you did want to check if the image had been altered, you could use content credentials and the Content Authenticity Initiative. It's a great initiative that as Firefly starts to roll out, as generative AI starts to happen, Adobe is working really, really hard to make sure you understand what is generated by AI and what is not. And so because we use Adobe Firefly on this image, when we export, it would have content authenticity credentials with it to make sure that we know that it was created with Adobe Firefly.
Yeah, I think that's like really important and good to call out. So, okay. So we have, what do I want to do? I just kind of want just the outside of it.
Oh, that's so weird that it blended them so well that I can't sort out what is the mask and what needs to get masked.
I know, I was getting a little confused. Okay, well, so let's see. So what I did, just in preparation for this, is I just brought all the text from the Outsidelands poster, the original Outsidelands poster, into this template. So I'm gonna start pulling elements from our poster concept into this poster. So, and I like this concept. I think this is the one that we're gonna kind of just like run with for now. The crowd looks really good. I like the Golden Gate Bridge in there. And I like the Conservatory of Flowers. And so what I might do is bring our conservatory image.
Supposedly the UK doesn't have fire hydrants. Someone in chat said, what's a fire hydrant? We don't have those in the UK. And I was like, there's no way. And I looked, and the UK doesn't have fire hydrants.
How is that?
I don't know. I like tried to read more, but then I got too distracted. I'm like, I'm on stream. But I guess the UK doesn't have fire hydrants. That's very interesting. Thank you, Andrew.
Do they not have fires in the UK?
No fires.
Interesting.
Yep.
That sounds great.
Being from California, I would love to have less fires.
Yeah, I am all for less fires as well. Okay, so we've got our conservatory. I'm gonna take my music festival crowd, close this untitled document, and just kind of start placing in these elements. And again, we're thinking about it sort of, what I'm building here is a grunge poster. And so if we look back at the Pinterest mood board, I really like this one here, how there's like various sort of cutouts.
Yep.
And so I think I'm gonna try something similar to that. So what I did is I copied and pasted the layer that Adobe Generative AI popped into this here. And I think that I'm going to give it some kind of treatment. Let's go to my filter gallery, but let's also adjust the colors.
We might need to rasterize it before. Maybe not, or convert it to a smart object. Maybe not.
Let's see what happens.
Oh no, we're good.
Cool. Okay. Although I do think that I will want to rasterize it, because what I'm going to do is I'm also going to, I want to give it a cut out look.
Okay.
Sort of like a hard cut, as if it has been like cut out by hand.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna just sort of cut it over and around these people.
And there's like at least 6 different ways that you can do that mask. You could use lasso, polygon lasso, magic wand, you could use a brush. So there's no wrong way to do any of these things. If your workflow looks a little bit different than the one that we're doing on the stream today, it's fine. As long as it works for you and as long as it gets to the point where you want it to be, it's the right way.
Yeah, I think that that's what is kind of one of the amazing pieces of Photoshop to me is, I know, honestly, most of the Adobe tools, is that there are so many ways to do the same thing. And I like Photoshop a lot because it feels almost like sketching to me. I'm able to like go really quick, move quickly in the way that I've like learned how to use the tools over the years, and get ideas out sort of as fast as possible, which is why I've been really appreciating using this generative AI tool, is because it kind of gives me a chance to just like iterate really quickly.
Yep.
So, okay. So we've got kind of a crowd forming, got our crowd in front here. And what I think I'm also gonna do is give...
I love that paper look. The torn paper look is like my absolute favorite in any composition, and so I love that we're incorporating that here.
Yeah, it's kind of, I've been like gravitating towards it a lot. Let's reverse these colors. So I'm going to filter, and I'm going over to filter gallery to just give us this like...
Quick tip, if you need to switch your foreground and background color, you can hit X and it will switch them.
What?
Yep. So when you're on the document, it won't work in the filter gallery. But if you need to switch them on the document, you hit X and it will reset them. And then you can also hit D, and D will switch them back to black and white.
So X.
So X switches those.
Oh, amazing.
And then if you hit D, black and white.
Wow.
Magic.
I love that. I did
Yes.
see, learn something new every day.
There you go.
Amazing.
And I believe that you can change the default background and foreground colors. So when you hit D, you can have it set to go to 2 colors. I think it's somewhere in the advanced panels, but you can do that so that if you're working with a color scheme, you can make it so every time you hit D, it resets to that color scheme.
So I'm kind of curious to see how this would work if I bring it into the background here, but it might not be quite as simple as a copy and paste. Because I'm liking this.
Oh, this is looking so cool. I love that perspective of the
Yep.
Golden Gate Bridge going over it.
Okay, so if I want to, I might rasterize and then remove background so that I get,
Oh.
no.
I would select color range and then select the blue.
Let's do,
And that's gonna get pretty close, and then put brush out the mask. Pretty close. Not crazy, especially if we're gonna do any kind of halftone over or any kind of single color. All that little detail will drop out.
oh, see, but I did this thing where okay.
That's looking so cool.
Yeah, the perspective is really dope. So I'm just gonna kind of like go through it by hand and erase some of this.
Chat, yeah, Photoshop is Andrew. It's just tell a story series on Adobe Live. You make it up and make it better as you go along. Yes, if you ever want to join me, every now and then we pop in on these Firefly days. On every Thursday is Firefly Day, if you didn't know, here on Adobe Live. And we do a show called Choose Your Own Adventure. I think it's called like Tell a Story with Photoshop. And we have been building a story over 3 episodes of a superhero snail that is on an adventure. And chat gets to write the story with me and then help me generate the prompts as illustrations.
Wow.
It's really fun. It's super chaotic. And we are like at least a chapter into this amazing story. So it's my favorite stream to do because I get to discover it as you get to discover it and write it with me, chat. So join me for that. Or you can watch on Adobe Live's YouTube channel. You can watch the recaps of those as well.
That sounds really fun and super random.
It's so random and so fun. Also, don't go watch them now. Stay here with us. We'll miss you.
Hang out with us, please.
Please be our friends.
Please, we're so lonely. Okay, so I'm liking this perspective. I want to, though, I'm curious to see what will happen if I select just the sky and insert Golden Gate Bridge in around it.
Okay. And Renee is saying, what time? It randomly happens, which is so fun. And that's why you should just subscribe to Adobe Live, or you can follow me over on Instagram, on Behance, wherever. It will give you notification when I go live. We've only done 3 episodes, and it randomly will kind of pop in here and there. I'll try to keep you all updated if we're doing another one. There's currently none on the schedule, so you don't have to worry about it for a little while, but it may pop up in a few months.
Oh.
Speaking of popping up on Adobe Live in a few months, we may be having you back in a few weeks. So if you enjoy this stream, if you enjoy these workflows, if you enjoy what's happening, we'll be back. We're not cutting to commercial, but Cory will be back.
I will be back.
Later. Yes.
I will be back. We're sorting the schedule, but I'm excited as always to be joining y'all here. Okay, so I am like trying something.
Oh, I'm living for that. Like
little.
The frame of that is awesome.
Yeah, it's a nice like kind of framing element because I was finding the bridge in that way just a little bit distracting. And so, oh, we're gonna rasterize. And I like this because it frames it. It gives kind of the impression that we're like under the Golden Gate Bridge too,
Yep.
which is like pretty cool. Yeah, that's nice.
That's real nice.
And as always, there are better ways to do what I'm doing here. But
I feel like remove background is either like the most amazing tool or it like completely explodes. And so if you haven't used it before, it is in the properties panel. You can just click on remove background, and usually it works really, really well. Every now and then we get something that's a little funky.
So, and because we're trying to give it this sort of like cut paper shape, I am not too concerned with like the perfection of it all. So I like this as like a framing element. So let's see. Let's not forget that I do have all of my Outsidelands type back here.
Yes. And hello, Lynn with the purple hearts, letting us know you're coming in from Discord. Thanks for joining our Discord community and coming over here on Adobe Live to hang out with us.
Welcome from Discord. We're happy to have you. We are working in Photoshop Beta using the Generative AI tool to sort of generate some cool concepts for an Outsidelands poster. So I made this like typographic lockup earlier today, but it's sort of also giving this like cut out paper look and feel style. I'm gonna auto select group so that I don't lose things. But I'm really liking sort of the different layered elements here.
I agree.
I like this Outsidelands.
And Stian is saying the bridge also worked better for this format. I agree. I think the other one looked great when it was in landscape, but then once it went portrait, it was like a little like too boxed in.
Yeah, so that's the other thing to consider with these concepts that we created is if we are making sort of a poster, then we're really only going to...
Seagulls.
I like the seagulls a lot.
I think it's great.
I think like, I don't know if we're gonna have time to go with that concept today, but I kind of want to play around with it.
Yes, we can keep exploring this one and see where we get.
So let's see. Seagull, let's seagull. Just for now, I'm gonna remove that background and we're going to kind of play around with our artists a little bit.
I only know songs by 3 of those artists, which makes me feel so irrelevant.
You know, to each their own.
To each their own.
That's okay.
Yes.
You don't need to know these people.
Hi,
So,
Umacorn. Nice to see you in chat.
which artists do you know?
So I know Lana Del Rey because she had that song from The Great Gatsby, and she did Snow on the Beach with Taylor.
Which is both amazing songs.
Yep. I know Foo Fighters because they're Foo Fighters. And I know Megan Thee Stallion because, and this might not be the right answer, she was on WAP with Cardi B.
Yep.
Okay, those are the only 3 that I know, and the only reason that I know, which 2 of those were on someone else's song. So I try. Maybe I need to go, and I need to get exposed to some of these other artists.
I mean, honestly, if you like Taylor, then I could see you really liking Lana Del Rey.
Okay.
I would encourage you to check out her discography.
Okay.
But it's okay. I don't blame you or judge you for not knowing the artists.
I feel like I gauge how culturally relevant I am with music by looking at the Coachella lineup and trying to pick out how many artists I know. And the less and less, every year becomes less and less. And I think I should start listening to music again.
You're getting less and less culturally relevant.
I know, It hurts. I listen to like Broadway stuff all the time, and so actual music is lost on me. Gareth Williams went to go see Foo Fighters a few years ago. Yes.
Yeah, if anyone's been to Outsidelands in the chat, I would love to hear.
Okay, can I show you a thing?
Yeah?
Oh, sorry. You're doing the shadows, right?
I'm doing a stroke.
Stroke, okay, cool.
But what are you thinking?
So basically, if we're doing like the same effect on a bunch of different pieces, you can actually copy those settings and paste them onto other layers.
So if I have, let's see, I want to do, because I'm trying to mimic this here, this effect.
Okay, cool. So whatever's happening down where it has effects, where is it?
This here, so I can go copy layer style.
Yep, and then you can paste that layer style onto another layer if you want. And just makes it so that if you have a good one, and especially with cut paper, if you're trying to do that like shadow, you can just copy and paste a whole bunch of times, and that way you don't have to go in and click as many times.
Brilliant.
We're here to save you clicks on Adobe Live.
I am all about efficiency, okay? Work harder. Or smarter, not harder.
Work smarter, not harder.
Work smarter, not harder. Right?
Or both, and just leave everyone in the dust.
We're gonna...
Oh, I love this aesthetic.
Yeah, me too. This is fun. I like this.
It's going somewhere. It feels very like college frat party, punk rock, kind of underground secret show.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a similar treatment for this. We're just going to, and let's lose the crowd for now.
Oh, I know Interpol. Okay, some of these, I actually do listen to Interpol. Lil Yachty, I only know him from a commercial that he was in, and I don't remember what it was. And I know that Eminem mentions him in a song. That's as far as I get. The rest, I'm out.
Like Trixie Mattel?
Oh, I didn't see Trixie's gonna be there. I know Trixie. I love Trixie. Yes. No,
Okay.
I love Trixie.
Cool.
I would go just to see Trixie is the answer there. I was actually just listening to a remix that Trixie did last night on a flight.
What's the remix?
It was an ABBA song remix. She put it on TikTok, and I was jamming.
Brilliant. We love ABBA. Okay, so I've already selected and copied the layer style, so I'm going to paste it. Boom.
Easy.
Same stroke, same color. Brilliant. We're going to do it again here. Oh my gosh, and time is just flying by.
Yes, it's true. We have about 15 minutes left, but I think that we're in a zone. And what's nice about this for this kind of workflow is at any point we could just be like, it's done. And you're like, yeah, it's the punk rock like cut paper. At this point, I think we're close enough that we could call it at any point, but we're just gonna make it better.
Yep. Okay, cool.
Another trick that isn't necessarily relevant to this workflow that we're doing, but if you have something that is like to where we're doing the same color background with that stroke on it and maybe a drop shadow, it helps sometimes to do all of your shapes inside of a group folder and then apply your layer style to the group instead of each of the layers.
That's okay, so that's the work smarter part.
Yes, but the way that everything's layering here, like that wouldn't be easier.
Yeah.
Because the text needs to be with each block instead. But if you were just doing it so that there were a bunch of blocks, way easier to do it as a group.
So I'm liking this crowd, but I think because the Golden Gate Bridge is bleeding off of the top, I want this to be contained a little bit more. So what I think I'm gonna do...
Do some crowd control.
I'm gonna do some crowd... I'm sorry, this guy gotta go. Maybe he's being too rowdy, but he's
too
gotta
much.
go.
He's got like, yeah, he has like a crossbody bag, but he's wearing it as a backpack.
No, not okay.
Unacceptable.
I'm sorry, you're kicked out of the festival. Okay, so I like this because then we have the slight border that's around the edge of the poster.
Very 1989.
Like, this is giving punk festival, right?
It very much is.
And take that from someone who's, I don't think I've ever been to a punk festival before.
I would love to go to a punk festival.
But I think it is giving it.
It is.
Okay, we'll put our bands back. Bloop. Bloop.
It feels official. Like, it's already starting to feel official.
Yes. Outsidelands, hire me.
Yeah, Outsidelands, if you're watching, we have somebody who wants to do some poster work for you.
We've got a cool poster. Okay. We're losing this 15 years here a little bit. We're also kind of losing the conservatory, which is like part of the point of this concept.
Oh, that's very true. I didn't even notice that.
So, like, we're gonna make these people. Maybe this is like the third tier.
Sorry, Trixie. Oh, Trixie's third tier.
Okay, no, you're right. Hold on. Hold on. We're gonna make these people third tier.
Dragged.
I'm sorry, Trixie. I love you. Please, you could also hire me, and I wouldn't be mad about it. Okay. There we go. We can see the conservatory a little bit more there.
We did it.
See, and what's helpful to me now at this point is like, okay, let's revisit the concept. I think we're still on track.
I think we're close.
I feel like we're still on track.
The idea is there.
The idea is there. I'm still so obsessed with these little seagulls.
I know.
Maybe we can bring some seagulls in. That would be kind of cute to just like
up there, yeah. Even if they're like off the top left or something.
Like, what if I just... Should I rasterize it first and then remove
Probably.
background?
Yes. Chat, we need you to name these seagulls,
Look
please.
at them. They're so cute.
Close enough.
All right. Oops.
Chat, we need you to name them.
Name the seagulls, please.
Yes. And no, nobody clip this and send it to Trixie. Absolutely
No,
not.
please don't. Unless this poster turns out amazing.
Yeah, unless
Then
it's a really
you
cool
can.
poster, then definitely.
Where did they go? Oh, there they are. Wait, what's happening? Okay, whatever. There we go. You know what? Was it you who suggested the birds?
Yes.
Brilliant idea.
It's cute.
It's really brilliant.
Yeah. And it gives us some like fun dimension.
So what color?
Stan and Fran? Oh, Trixie and Katya. Yes. No, that's the right
Trixie and-
answer.
okay.
They are named Trixie and Katya. 100%.
So now you can clip this and send it to Trixie.
Yes.
Please. Okay, what color do you think we should make the birds? If we're going with this sort of like duotone.
I would do like red,
Let's try a red.
because we've got a lot of oranges and burnt kind of like yellows, and not like a super bright red, but almost like the burnt red that you have there.
Maybe that?
Yeah.
Let's see how it looks. Filter gallery. Hee Trixie and Katya. Look, they're having so much fun up
Yeah,
there.
they are.
Okay, well, let's add a stroke to this, but I'm going to do a different color stroke. I don't
Which is so funny because, like, if you ever seen any content from Trixie, they always make fun that Trixie's laugh is like a bird noise, and now we have actual birds
Now
that
we have
are
birds.
Trixie and Katya.
Okay, so now I'm going to, we're losing this. Where's my type layer? Okay. We're going to add just like a little bit of a containing shape here.
And we're just using the
Polygonal
lasso. Thank you.
I don't never know how to say that.
Yes, polygonal.
Polygonal?
Polygonal.
Polygonal?
Polygonal.
Polyagonal?
All of those. But there are 3 different lassos. So there's the magnetic, there is the lasso tool, and the polygonal tool.
Is it too much to have it be the same color as this? I think it might be.
I'm not mad about it being pink or like the.
Pink or green?
I think the green's too heavy.
Green? Or
Yeah.
Pink?
I think pink.
Yeah,
I think pink is
nice.
fun. Yeah.
Okay. I like pink too. Hee 15 years.
We did it.
Oh, we're having fun. Okay. Do we want a stroke?
Yeah, like a little black stroke. Actually, the red's not bad either.
The red's not bad. Let's see how black looks though. What? Black?
Black.
Black.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've got about 8 minutes left here, chat. If you have any suggestions for this poster, if you have any feedback for us that you'd like to incorporate, let us know in chat.
So I'm curious to see what this crowd looks like in a different color. And so something I'm gonna try.
Someone's saying, CF designer, this looks great. I agree.
Thank you. Gradient map. Huh. Huh. Okay.
Someone's saying, can we pull up the actual posters and compare? We will do that at the end. We will do a little side-by-side and see if we have accomplished the goal of trying to get a cohesive kind of look going.
Would they want to pull up the Outsidelands poster?
Yes, to see how close we got, even from inspiration, to see how we kind of translated inspiration. We'll do that in 3 minutes. How about that, chat?
Yeah,
we'll keep working here and we'll do a little recap right before the stream ends to show you everything that we did today, as well as to see if we accomplished the goal of making a poster that kind of fits the vibe of our inspiration.
I'm gonna add a border, because I'm a sucker for a border.
Yep.
Hello, border. Oh, you know what? It's behind everything. There we go.
It's there, just not the
It's
right
there.
place.
Let's make it 19. You know what's funny?
I saw that.
But now it's gone.
Oh,
Why is it doing that?
Photoshop beta. That means
Beta.
they're still working on things. If you do it, run into a like random thing. So up on the top right, there is a little beaker. If you click on that beaker right there, you can give your feedback and you can let us know what's wrong if there's an issue. It actually is very helpful. The same thing goes for generative fill. So if you ever have an issue, click on that beaker, give us feedback. It goes to an actual person. I have met him. He's like, when people make complaints, it goes to my email. And I'm
Okay.
like, it's a real person.
Wow.
So they do get read. If you have an issue, let us know. We can fix it.
Okay, so I don't know. We've got a poster here.
Yes.
I kind of like it. Something that I like to do too for just a little bit of an aesthetic purpose, add a little bit of texture.
Yes.
So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to add some
Take us
noise.
there. Yes.
And we're going to do, well, let me make this a smart layer, smart object.
I'm interested to see your workflow for this.
I don't know if this is like a good workflow for this, but a little dark. But I'm gonna bring the fill down a little bit. Just like a nice subtle.
Okay.
Now we've got like some noise kind of layered over everything. It did darken it quite a bit if I did maybe like a white layer.
Do you want to see a different way to do this?
Yes,
that will
please
fix
tell
the
me.
darkening. Okay, here we go. We are going to create a new layer. So Control
Okay.
Shift N or click new layer right there. We actually need the settings to come up. Actually, we don't. Fill that with 50% gray.
Okay. What? Tell me how to do that.
So grab the paint bucket tool, which I think is G. Shift G. There we go. Yep. And then grab our color picker over on the left. Click on the fill color.
Hmm?
Far left down. Right there. Yep. and then type in all zeros on our CMYK, but make the K 50. So the K is just black, which I don't know why the K is black. We want a 50% gray, and now click to fill that whole thing with a paint bucket of the 50% gray. So now we're going to change the blending mode to overlay.
Okay.
And that's going to make everything go away. So now when you apply your noise, it will only pull the lights and darks. So it's the 50% overlay goes away. So now when you add noise, it doesn't change your colors. It just adds the texture of the noise.
Amazing.
Right?
Okay. See, these are the nuances of Photoshop that I have just
Magic.
do not quite grasp.
And again, it looked fine either way, but when you look at it and you're like, oh man, it feels a little dark, then you explore a different way. There's no right or wrong way. I just knew that we thought it looked a little dark and I knew how to fix it, so I offered my advice. So if you have issues, keep exploring until you find something that just looks or feels right, and then keep using that as your process until you discover a better one.
Okay, well, so I am like pretty stoked off of this poster.
It turned out really well.
Do we want to do like a little quick walkthrough?
Let's do it. And real quick, I want to answer a question. So someone in chat, Hula Hoop, when you create an image in AI, does it become royalty free? No. So right now, Adobe Firefly is not cleared for commercial use, but it is being trained on Adobe Stock. So eventually the intention is that it will be cleared for commercial use. So not quite. It's still in beta, not for commercial use yet. The hope is that it will be trained so that it is safe for commercial use, which is really cool.
So everyone, let's just do a little before and after comparison. This is the existing Outsidelands poster. This is the new one that we came up with. And the way that we got here, and this is part of my workflow process when I'm creating either project concepts or ideas or editorial images, is I started with an image that I pulled from Adobe Stock, stock.adobe.com. This image of the Conservatory of Flowers here in San Francisco, and we selected different parts of this image and typed into the Generative AI toolbar, I guess, that's here in Photoshop Beta. Let's see, what did I type in for this one? Music festival crowd.
Yep.
And it generated for us a couple of different options. And then from there, someone did suggest Statue of Liberty, which we did drop into this, which is not quite on theme for a San Francisco-based music festival. So then we explored some Golden Gate Bridge options. And then from there, we took these different layers that the generative AI tool generated for us and brought them over here into this poster and built it out into this kind of like grungy music festival-esque vibe poster.
I think we hit it pretty spot on.
I think so too. I'm happy with this.
I am too. It looks really, really good. So if you want to learn more about this, again, you can watch us on Adobe Live here. We have content every day from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Mondays are usually photography or video. Tuesdays are graphic design. Wednesdays are Adobe Express. Thursdays are Adobe Firefly, which is today. And tomorrow, we will have some awesome Creative Encore content for you. So make sure you subscribe. And where can people follow you?
You can find me on Instagram. I'm at Cory Allen Hall. Instagram.com/Cory Allen Hall. You can find me there.
All right. See you guys. We will see you another time here on Adobe Live. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.